Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today we're doing part 1 of my 3-part Walking Dead Season 9 San Diego Comic-Con trailer breakdown. So if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any future Walking Dead videos. Now let's begin. Alright, so we start off this trailer with a view of the doorsteps down to Negan's prison cell, and we see Rick sit down and start a conversation with Negan, and he pretty much does a voiceover as we see the trailer for the first couple minute or two of like explaining about how life used to be and how they're rebuilding society and creating this new life in the apocalypse. I really like how they started off the trailer. It was really cool and something like I felt like it like really picked up right at the beginning. Like there was no downtime in the trailer from the beginning to end, and I like how they started it off, especially with the music right at the gate. I thought the music was great compared to last season's music, where it just kind of felt didn't really mix well with the tone of the season. However, I feel like the music for this season's trailer mixed very well with the story they seem to be going to be telling in this season. Next, we see an image of the house at the hilltop. I forget the name of the house, but I really like this image for some reason. I don't know if it's the way the sun's positioned, but this picture, I don't know, there's something about it that really grabbed me when I saw it. I don't know, I just really liked it. But then you see Maggie looking out at the community from the balcony of the house. Really like that image too. I feel like it's similar to like these images we've seen in the past where Rick will stand and like look out at his community or whatever. I think those are really cool shots when you see them looking out over their community. And then we get our first glimpse of Herschel, Maggie's new baby. So it's been confirmed that she's had her baby at this point. He looks about maybe a little over a year and a half old maybe. So we can presume at this point there's been at least a year to maybe 2-year time jump. So I think that's pretty interesting. I'm a little confused on the time jump though, because then we see Judith now. It looks like she's about 3, maybe 4-ish. So the time jump again could be iffy depending on how old Judith is, because I can't really tell with that age. It's kind of hard to tell how old Judith is in this image, but I really like it. Assuming she's finally got a permanent actress at this point, since she's gonna be a kind of like a toddler now. She might change again depending on how long the show keeps going for and if they do another time jump, but for right now I think she'll probably have around the same age actor from this point on. Next, we see Rick and Michonne surveying the construction of some kind of building. I can't really tell what it is. I think it might be a school. At first I thought it might be the church, but I thought why would they wait this long to rebuild the church after it was destroyed in season 8 if they did this time jump? So I'm presuming they're maybe building a school. I feel like that fit in right with them rebuilding society and whatnot. And then we see them riding their horses, and it looks like I think this is the kingdom. I can't really tell. It looks like it's an area in the kingdom, but I can't really tell. It's a little bit confusing to me. And then we get a glimpse at the kingdom, at the sanctuary, where there's like a bunch of crows there. That's a little weird. From that image alone, it feels like the sanctuary's been abandoned, but I don't understand why they'd abandon the sanctuary. It just feels a little iffy, especially since we saw the sign in the teaser trailer for the sanctuary, so I don't understand that. I don't know, the landscape there just seems a little off to me, but I think it's pretty cool looking anyway. Next, we got a shot of Michonne and Judith in some kind of garden area picking tomatoes. I feel like this season they're probably going to try to build on Judith and Michonne's bond, as Michonne will probably be the one taking care of Judith once Rick dies. So I feel like they're going to try to build up those two's relationship as a mother-daughter kind of relationship, similar to the Carl and Michonne relationship, just as a mother kind of figure now with a younger kid. So I think they'll probably build that relationship up this season. Next, we got one of my favorite images from the trailer. You got Rick riding on horseback in like a town or city area, and at first I thought he had Negan's Lucille, but then upon further look, it looks like he made his own Lucille bat, and he's got it, and we see in the trailer that he actually kills a walker with it. So I think that's pretty cool that Rick has his own Lucille, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you'd call it Lucille or if you'd call it something different, but I think that's pretty cool that they gave him his own Lucille. A little disappointing though, since we know he's gonna die now. It just feels a little, just I don't know, it just feels silly to give him his own will seal. If he was staying around for a bit, I think it'd be a bit more cooler. But since we know he's dying, it doesn't make any sense at this point though. Next, we see the group of combined communities gathering what seems to be lumber and some wood, and we hear Rick saying that they're gonna help the sanctuary rebuild, and I guess maybe something happened to the sanctuary, which explains why it kind of looks abandoned. So maybe something happened to them and they're trying to help rebuild the sanctuary. And then we see one of the saviors, I think his name is Porter, and we see him thanking Rick and for everything that he's doing. I actually really like this character. I've heard that they're making him the new leader, the Saviors. I don't know if that's officially confirmed. I think that's just rumor right now. Now, I would be okay with that. I think he's a cool minor character, and since we don't know who's taking over as the Saviors right now, I think that'd be the interesting choice since he's just a minor character. But I would definitely like to see more from this character. He's definitely an interesting character, especially since he's more of a sea level character that we haven't seen much of in season 8. Next, we get our glimpse at the Capitol building, and we see that Maggie, Rosita, and Sadiq, along with Daryl, Michonne, Carol, Ezekiel, and Cindy, a whole bunch of communities, I guess. And we see that it looks like they're gathering supplies from the Capitol building. This is probably how it'll come into play. I feel like they're going to use the Capitol building as a place to go and get supplies to help rebuild or fix the sanctuary, depending on the story wise. I'm interested to see what goes on there, if there'll be any side stories there. But I feel like the Capitol building is just going to be like used to help fix the sanctuary, rebuild the sanctuary in a sense. I don't think it's gonna be like this huge storyline that everybody thinks it's gonna be. I think it's just gonna be this plot point to help rebuild the sanctuary in a sense, which I'm okay with. I don't think we need the Capitol building to be this big plot point in the storyline. So I'm okay with if they just make it this plot point for fixing and rebuilding the sanctuary. That's all it should be. We shouldn't be expanding more on like meeting the president or finding a cure or anything. I don't think we should have anything like that in the world of The Walking Dead. I think just keep it simple. They go there. Maybe we see maybe one or two survivors to just die later on or something, or commit suicide or something, that just don't contribute anything. That'd be interesting and fine. But I just don't think we need this big elaborate storyline with the Capitol building. But leave your thoughts and opinions on how you think the Capitol building will play out in season 9 of The Walking Dead. Next, we kind of come like full circle back around and we see Negan for the first time in the jail cell. We see Rick dropping off some food and we get our first glimpse of Negan in the prison cell as well. I'm sorry if you can't really see this. I know it's dark. I tried to get a good image, but it was very dark in the trailer, so I apologize if you can't see it that well. But I really like how they brought this all full circle with the whole Negan stuff right here, and where he asked when do I get to see it. I think that was a great way to bring it, like the whole like dialogue in the background full circle, and just leave it in, bring it into this new part of the trailer where Rick then goes on to say, "You don't get it, you know. Don't you ever get tired of pretending you're still the leader?" And I like how Negan comes back and says, "Don't you ever get tired of doing the same," or whatever. I think that was such a good comeback from Negan, and I can't wait to see what they do with him in season 9. I think they got great setup for him, and they have great potential to make him a great character in season 9 and expand on who he is and his background this season as well. Next, we see the windmill. We've heard them talk about how they're going to be building it. I'm presuming this is the windmill. And if you look very closely on the sign behind it, you see the sign reads Commonwealth. I don't think this is a direct hint that they're introducing the Commonwealth this season. I think it's more of an Easter egg that the Commonwealth is coming soon, or probably in season 10. But I don't believe that this directly saying that the Commonwealth will be in the season. Moving on, next we see Maggie talking to Rick, saying how I said that, when the war was over, I'd follow you, but I wasn't ready then. I am now. Now you can follow me. I like how to bring that back up, and they're bringing that full circle, and I do agree that this probably has something to do with the HQ being Hilltop, probably. Now, another interesting thing to note with the Maggie image is that she has a bit of a bruise on her right eye. or some, maybe it's a black eye. I can't really tell, but there's definitely something up with her eye, and I think this might have something to do with a confrontation or the attempt on her life by Gregory. And I'll go into more detail on that later on in the trailer or in the next part, depending on how long this video gets. Next, we got Carol going for the woods. I think this has something to do with the Saviors, and she's investigating something probably when they're camping out at night, kind of expanding their territory. I don't think she's dying, but I'm interested to see what goes on here and how this whole thing plays out with Carol. Because from some of the things we've seen in the trailer, it doesn't look like she totally agrees with what Rick did at the end of season 8. So I'm curious to see what goes on there. Moving on next, they see Daryl cruising on his motorcycle, which kind of, I don't understand. He shouldn't be on his motorcycle. They should have no gas, but I feel like they're doing that to please the Daryl fans, and I feel like they're afraid that if they don't give Daryl his bike, the Daryl fans will turn away, which doesn't make any sense. But moving on, other than that just is a nitpick probably from me. But moving on, we also have Daryl in the background talking about how he liked how it used to be when they were a small group. And I feel like they're going to go back to like season 5 when they first arrived in Alexandria when he was an outsider trying to find his place. I feel like they're going to be replaying out that kind of storyline, which is a bit annoying, but I'm interested to see how that plays out, and maybe it'll go into him taking over as the lead character. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But again, some of the stuff with Daryl is just kind of annoying me, but I am interested to see what goes on when he takes over as the lead later on this season. Next, we see the group fighting a group of walkers. I love this clip where they have the logs knocking down the walkers. I like how they did that. Then you see Rick fighting some walkers. I think this might tie into Magna's introduction. I'll go into that in the next video, but I think that has something to do with Magna. And then we see Rick and Daryl talking by a fire. And Rick tells Daryl, you got to find your place again. I feel like they're going to replay, like I said, him being an outsider. And I feel like Rick's going to be telling him, just got to find your place and work your way into this group and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what goes on there. But I think for this beginning part of the trailer, I think they started off strong and definitely got a good groove going, especially with this trailer compared to last season's trailer. Yeah, alright guys, that's my part 1 of my Walking Dead Season 9 San Diego Comic-Con trailer breakdown. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 coming soon. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon, that way you don't miss any future videos on The Walking Dead moving forward. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment. I will see you next time.